Number 4. Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu ham mano buddhireva cha ahankar iti anme bhinna prakritirashtadha. Now from here Shree Krishna begins giving that knowledge. So he says, Arjun, the various elements of nature. You know this word element, you have all heard of it in high school chemistry. Modern chemistry says there are 118 elements in the periodic table. Shree Krishna has classified the elements differently. He says the elements of nature. What are these? Earth, subtler water, even subtler fire, even subtler air, even subtler sky or space, even subtler mind, even subtler intellect, and subtler than that. Arjun, all these are different forms of my energy. You know, Newton, if we see the evolution of science, this statement has got such amazing wisdom in it that if the scientists of the world were to just read this a few times, they would say, we can't believe that this was spoken 5,000 years ago. You see, Newton, around the 17th century, 1600s, he presented his Newtonian mechanics and the classical model of physics. According to Newtonian mechanics, this world is like a machine with masses and forces. And forces act through space instantly, like the force of gravitation, etc. So the whole world is like a mechanistic model. However, after Newton came Michael Faraday. He passed a magnet through a wire and converted the motion into electric energy. He went beyond Newtonian mechanics by converting one kind of energy, mechanical energy, into electric energy. Then came Maxwell. He replaced force by force field. In other words, if you have a positive charge, there is no force there, but there is a force field around it. So he changed the concept of science. Now people understood light as a rapidly changing electromagnetic spectrum. Then came Einstein in 1905. In his Annus Mirabilis papers, he propounded his revolutionary equation. He said that matter has the potential of being changed to energy, and the quantity is specified by the equation E is equal to mc square. So he said that matter itself can change into energy. On the other side, there were developments taking place in chemistry as well. In the Greek period, atoms were considered as the solid, indivisible particles of nature. You can't go less than an atom. But Rutherford came and he started bombarding the atom with alpha particles and noting on the other side with the Jaeger counter, the ticks. And he found out the atom is 99% empty. And then he developed the periodic table, the electron, the proton, neutron, based on it, his Rutherford system of classifying the elements. However, in 1920s came Niels Bohr and other scientists who propounded the quantum theory. So they said that at the subatomic level, matter is not what we think it to be as something solid. It has a dual particle wave nature. In other words, it's both particle and wave. Now, I don't want to confuse you too much. Heisenberg also came after that with his uncertainty principle. And he said it is uncertain whether it's particle or wave. There's an uncertainty attached. Since the 1920s, scientists have been confused how to reconcile these. Einstein himself, when he's heard of Niels Bohr and their theories, he says it's as if the ground is being pulled from under our feet with nothing to fall upon. So scientists have been endeavoring for a unified field theory. How to unify all this? If we can come up with some kind of equation that can address all the forces and matters of nature into one equation. Is that possible? Shree Krishna says, absolutely. He says, Arjun, all that is existing, whether it's matter or the air or the light, anything, it is all my one energy that has unfolded. In other words, he's giving the perfect unified field theory out here. He's tied up everything as one energy. And he says, Arjun, everything that you see in this material realm is all different forms of my energy. So how this is, we will come across this again in future. Number 5. Apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param Jiva bhutam mahabaho yaidam dharyate jagat. Now he goes beyond science. Science is corporeal. Science is related to the mundane level. In this verse, he's gone beyond. He says, Arjun, all this is my energy. Beyond that is another energy. This is the spiritual energy. And what is this? All the souls of the world. And in other words, all of us. What are we? We are not matter. We are different from matter. What makes us different from matter? What distinguishes us is the quality of consciousness. Matter does not possess consciousness. The secret of consciousness has not yet been unraveled by science. Can you create consciousness in the laboratory? No. Well, science means you believe what can be proved. If science says that there is no such thing as spiritual energy, the soul, it doesn't exist, all matter, molecules, chemicals, then where did life come from? It says, well, when this became very complex, then the symptom of life manifested. So if that is the case, you create it in the laboratory. Forget about creating humans. Create a mosquito. Mr. Scientist, can you create a mosquito? I cannot. Then why should I believe you? No, I cannot create it today. Science is not advanced enough. After 30 years, science will become advanced enough. Then we will create it. Why are you giving me a post-dated check in the name of science? Today we cannot prove it. After 30 years we will prove it. What kind of logic is this? And if somebody says, we have created life, we've got test tube babies. No. There you started off with life. You make life out of atoms and molecules. You cannot. Consciousness doesn't exist in the material energy. Consciousness exists in the spiritual energy. So there is life in our body. That is why you jab a thorn out here. What happened? It's paining, Swamiji. That's the sign of consciousness. That feeling. Where is this coming from? The soul within has consciousness and it passes on this property to the body as well. Hence, by the presence of the soul, the hand is moving, the feet are moving, the tongue is moving, the eyes are seeing, the ears are hearing, all work is being done by the energy imparted from the soul. The moment the soul leaves, the hand, feet, tongue, eyes, ears, everything is there. But all work has finished. People say burn the body now. Why burn it? It's become mud. Till yesterday you were respecting him so much. Such a senior person, big minister, big government officer. Well, the soul was there. That body had some value. The soul has left. Everybody is now mud. Raja, Rank, Fakir. So, Shree Krishna says out here, Arjun, and he says it so casually. See where science is struggling to reach. He's saying it casually. He says, Arjun, beyond all this is the spiritual energy, which is the souls of the world. He will introduce us to a third energy as the chapter goes along. But let's restrict ourselves to the second energy now. So one more thing that this verse implies, that the soul is not God. You see, the Advaitis, they're hell-bent on saying, you are God, I am God, Aham Brahmasmi. Shree Krishna says, Arjun, not at all. The soul is my spiritual energy. It is infinitesimal. There are so many differences between the soul and God. If the soul itself was God, then how come we have fallen into illusion? Can God fall into illusion? If God could fall into illusion, then illusion would be stronger than God. Then the material energy, Maya, would be supreme, not God. And God is all-pervading. Are we all-pervading? If we were, then where would be the question of coming all the way from Boston to Virginia for the retreat? You would have already been there. You would have already been here. Why would the Vedas say you go to heaven and you go to hell and you go here and there? We would have been everywhere. And God is all-knowing. Are you all-knowing? If you are all-knowing, do you know what everybody is thinking? Swamiji, I know what I am thinking. So you are the tiny soul. If somebody says, I am God. So I say, when is the last time that you created the universe? God is the creator of the universe. Are you the creator of the universe? So, there are these dualistic acharyas, Madhva Acharya. Shankaracharya emphasized the unity. He said there is just one entity called Brahman, there is nothing else. Madhvacharya went to the other extreme. He emphasized the duality. And he said that there is the soul and then there is God, distinct. And then there is the soul and there's another soul, again distinct. So he emphasized the duality. But that duality, complete distinction also is not satisfactory. So the satisfactory thing out here is the soul is my energy. And being the energy, it has a simultaneous oneness and difference with me. Just like you have a fire and its energies. What are the energies of the fire? Heat and light. You can call them one with the fire if you like. Or you can call them distinct from the fire if you like. Both are correct. The heat and light are one with the fire. That's also correct. The heat and light are distinct from the fire. That is also correct. Both are correct. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he propounded the Achintya Bheda Bhedvad, which is the what Shree Krishna is talking about, what Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj explains, that the soul is the energy of God. We are all God's divine energy. And being His energy, we are simultaneously one with Him. And we are also distinct from Him. So Sri Krishna has tied up everything that exists in the form of energy. Why is he giving this knowledge to Arjun? He's establishing himself, God, as the supreme worshipable object. If we can appreciate the glory of God, that everything that exists is His energy, naturally our devotion towards Him will increase. You say, I'm not devoted to God, I'm devoted to that film star. Say, whatever exists, whatever glory exists in that film star is all God's energy. No, I'm totally impressed by Bill Gates, by the amount of wealth he has got. That wealth is all God's energy. So Sri Krishna has tied everything up as the energy of God, which makes it clear that He is the supreme worshipable object, the Supreme Lord. So He will now go on revealing different aspects of knowledge as we go through this chapter. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai.